Works. Hello, Devlin. Devlin is here in chat, and let's see. I think some other folks are also in chat. Not Slip is here. How are you all? Hello. Just kind of let everybody else kind of slide in as we are setting up here. So, hey, Devlin. Hey, Not Slip. How's it going? Let's see, stream health looks pretty good on my end. Excellent, excellent. Killswitch and Susie, hey, how you doing? Let's get started on this, shall we? Hey, folks. How are you doing? Commander Torres, Jackie's here, Kitchen Witch, everybody, Susie. Let's see, Killswitch, hey, I've probably already said your name. How's it going, everyone? I hope you all have had a wonderful week. I have had a very, very good week, particularly like productivity-wise, so I'm very excited about that. So it's wonderful to be here with all of you. Tonight, the first thing you might be thinking to yourself is you're looking over there at the book cover and you're saying, hang on, Thomas, didn't you already read that? And the question is, yeah, almost. Last year, I guess when I was going through weird slumpy periods, there was quite a stretch last year when things were just kind of being very awkward in terms of me kind of finding any sort of balance between the channel and life and all of that. And I was, very much incommunicado for a long time. So I read maybe like 70% of this, and then I didn't DNF it. I just kind of stopped. So I was kind of disappointed that happened. So I've started reading it again because I want to finish it up. I've gotten like almost to the point where I left off last time, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish it through because I want to get it read. I do enjoy it. I want to get the review up and just be moving forward with other things, and and other things are moving forward and have been. So that's good news, and I'm feeling very optimistic and upbeat about that. I hope all of you, like I said, have been doing very well. So let's see, who is all? Devlin's had a very, very busy week. Well, that's good, I guess. Zero Zaku, hello, welcome. Good to see you and good to have you here. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Now, other good news this week is that we've got mail, which that means is at the beginning of second session, we're going to have a neat little mini mailbag. Got 3 packages in. All at once a couple of days ago from Saga Press. And I haven't opened them yet. I've just been sitting on them, waiting for tonight. So, yeah, that's going to happen. And I believe that is, that sounds like Nava. I can pretty much identify everyone's barks at this point. But, so yeah, doing good. And we're going to have a 3-book mailbag at the beginning of session 2. That's always fun to have. And, yeah, other than that, let me know what you guys are reading out there. Kitchen Witch is reading The Joyful Woman, another 1940s mystery. Commander Torres, yeah, I know whereof you speak. So, like I said, I hope yours has run its course, or is, that you're doing better now. But I was going through quite a lot of that in 2025. And it was just, finally just rallied and said, okay, time to kind of course correct. So, Killswitch, okay, that is Tara and Nava kind of arguing. Tara's the Yorkie, and doesn't care that she's smaller than everyone. She does not put up with fools gladly. Killswitch is rereading Ancillary Justice, okay. And, yes, it has, Killswitch. Shockingly so. Commander Torres has finished Boy with Accidental Dinosaur. And you're just going to hang out and chill. Well, that's nice. Glad to have you here. Just doing that. Just vibing with all of this. Hopefully we'll get a lot of good trains tonight. The evening is very still. Quiet, not really much going on in the way of night birds or insects or anything like that. It's all very chill tonight. So, Maddie Groves is reading Planet of Exile. Very cool. Susie Bolt might finish Last Unicorn tonight. You guys have got some good classics on tap. Aura is reading These Burning Stars. Yeah. You started that last week, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And, all right, Zerozaku is reading Inda by Sherwood Smith. Yeah, I remember for a while that was like, that one really kind of caught on BookTube, just out of nowhere. I guess maybe about like 10 years ago. A lot of folks were reading Inda. So, and it's still around, it's still out there, attracting readers, so that's cool. And the Hellboy Omnibus, all right. Devlin is going to switch back and forth between the macabre and Do What Godmother Says by Ellis Stratton. Okay, that's interesting. Have any recommendations for fan of Robin Hobb, Lois Bujold, or Janny Wirtz? Well, wow. Okay, that's, golly. I'm going to have to think on that because there are a lot of directions I can go. But it's all, But everybody else in chat, too, please feel free to answer that one. Let me see. I think I've gotten used to R's gotten used to novellas. Okay, that's fine. One author that George always makes. George makes fun of me because I like him so much. Although I think he just does it to do it. Not Connie Willis. Oh, that's a good thought. Yeah, Connie Willis doesn't write exactly the same kinds of books that those authors do, but she has a voice that I think will, reach those readers, if you know what I mean. That readers of those authors will appreciate. I really like her, all of her, like, time-traveling historian books. But especially Blackout and All Clear, which is the duology. That's the Hugo-winning duology. But although I know that it's those two books are a little bit divisive, among some readers from the UK, which is where it's set, kind of will nitpick those two books over this or that or the other kind of, historical, inaccuracy and what have you. I think from based on what I know and, what I derive from the book, I don't feel that anything she's done in there, violates any kind of acceptable, or, legitimate applications of creative license, but I do think that they are very, very powerful, stories, especially the scene from the scene that takes place during the Blitz in London, where our heroine is essentially watching from the very top of St. Paul's Cathedral and just looking out and seeing all of London just being blown to smithereens. There's powerful set pieces in both of those books, and yes, and very character driven. But yeah, also, L.E. Modesitt Jr. is a veteran fantasy author. He's in his 80s. He's still writing, and he's done both science fiction and fantasy. And his fantasy books, I think that there are some series that he's done that Robin Hobb fans will appreciate because they both kind of have that, I won't say dense a writing style, but I mean, it is kind of dense, but it's very meticulous. Meticulous is probably a better word, right? Where, Robin Hobb never rushes things. She takes some criticism for that. And she's very, very thorough about, placing you in her world so that you kind of, understand everything. And I feel like, people could pick up a series like the Imager Portfolio by Modesitt, or like the Spellsong Chronicles or the Korean Chronicles, and and find something in there, in Modest's books to like. His hard science fiction is very different. His science fiction is very, very intellectual and very idea driven. I enjoy it, but it wouldn't necessarily be for everyone. But his fantasies might not be quite as particular, right? Anyway, so that's. Gosh, I'm just blabbing on, aren't I? But it's good to talk to you guys. That's why it's good to hang out and just talk to you guys about books and just hang with y'all. And so, but I know that we are here to read stuff. And that is what we are here to do. So, like I say, I'm always very, very thrilled to have you here. I am going to get over here and, because we're 10 minutes into this stream and I've just been chat. But we're going to start 45 minutes and counting for session 1. Let's do it. And let's hope we get some trains, because there have been trains coming through, so. Let's hope we get some good ones. Fair point, Evelyn. Okay, Kill Switch. There's somebody off in the distance shouting something, and I have no idea. It's weird. Very weird. Okay. Open the book. So anyway. Oh, one more thing. You guys are going to find this amusing very quickly. I downloaded, because it's free on Apple Books, being a classic, but I went ahead and downloaded Wuthering Heights. Not because I want to see the movie. I emphatically am not interested in seeing the movie. But the way that fans of the book on social media have been talking about how horrible the movie is, because the book is really about this, and it's really about this, and it's really about this. And everybody in it is a complete bastard, and no one's likable, and it's all just about just horrible, oppressive systems, and yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, that actually sounds interesting, right? It's not some swoony romance. This is like really a book about the harsh, cruel world. That actually piqued my interest. So I went ahead and downloaded it, and because like I said, it's a free classic download, and I've just read the first chapter last night before bed, and I'm like, wow, yeah, Heathcliff is kind of a prick. It's just right away. I mean, it's told from the view. The book opens, and it's told from the viewpoint of this man who is just going to be like, he comes to this land or this property that Heathcliff owns, because he's going to be one of his tenants, and Heathcliff is going to be his landlord. And they're just sort of getting acquainted, and Heathcliff is immediately brusque and rude, and his dogs bark at the man, and it's all just kind of a, wow, everyone here is really just unfriendly jerks. So we're going to get a whole 500-page book of this. This could be fun. But I just thought it was not even a little bit romance, right? And yet they're totally selling the movie like it's one of these romanticises with sprayed edges, right? They're totally selling it like that. So. You're up, Kill Switch. Wow. Okay, well, all of this makes sense, Killswitch. We're finding out that trains were more or less directly responsible for the creation of modern time zones as we understand them, because, you know, as land transportation became faster and more efficient with trains, the world became a smaller place. People could now travel farther, and there was greater necessity to standardize time, not just so that you knew when your train was coming and when it was going, but so that there was all-around public safety, right? Trains wouldn't collide. You know, I'm saying this for the benefit of anyone who might be watching and either not tuned into chat or watching the archive version or whatever, but that is interesting, and it makes total sense. Greenwich Mean Time. That's where that started in the 1840s. Oh, adopted nationwide in 1880, but the system really kind of took hold about a little over 35 years before. And so the UK was the first country to standardize time. Interesting. I get a slight crick in my neck from turning my head to look at the screen, so I'll just do this. So North America, local towns and cities, eager for the prosperity and opportunities brought by the railroad, were quick to adopt their continent's new time zones, and the federal government was slower, of course, fully adopted the new time zones in 1918. So less than 110 years old. That was a chat novel, but interesting, yeah. So our current time zones that we now use and take for granted are just a hair over a century old. So many things that we think have just always kind of been the way they are. You know, you learn just how recent, what recent innovations they were. That's intriguing, you know, that's to find that out. Thank you, Killswitch. Well done. Yes. And then everybody clapped. Yes, very good. Always awesome to read these, but that was very interesting. Okay, then. Back to deep space for me. Ooh, excuse me. Hang on, I'm going to have to look that up. Hello, Canine. Thanks, Killswitch, for doing that. Appreciate that. Oh, it's an IMAX movie. Sorry to interrupt the train, but it's an IMAX movie. Well, there you go. Very cool. Be safe, Canine. We'll see you in a few minutes. Here's what it looks like. It's the packaging of it. So, yeah. Just gonna get a little off kilter so the glare of the screen doesn't kick back into the lens. Okay. Very cool. Thanks for the recommendation. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure, yeah. And of course, if it was shot for IMAX, well, that explains why it just looks so phenomenal. So yeah, I will definitely pick that up. I haven't really heard much about that, not slip, other than what sounded to me just like the usual online fanish speculative muttering. I mean, that would be interesting if they did that. It would be a very uncommon thing to do, but maybe The Expanse is just continuing to get lots and lots of views, even though it, technically ended. So, yeah, right at the moment, I'm going to consider it a rumor, but you never know. Hang on, let me look. Activity, see, stream settings, stream health. Yeah, I'm not getting any indication that anything is wrong with the stream on this end. So, there we go. Yeah, I've had a... Yeah, sometimes that does happen. You'll need to... Yeah. Refresh your screen or something. Wow, what is everybody? Everybody's talkative tonight. You know. Yeah, sometimes they get a little argumentative, but, you know, for the most part, I think that we are, you know, we run a pretty tight foster, I think. But, you know, every once in a while, they get in their little moods, you know, yarf, 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 yarf. And it is, as you suggest, Devlin, probably a case of somebody invading boundaries a little too much. And finally just like bark, bark, back off. That happens. That happens. Oh, awesome, K9. Awesome, good. I'm eager to hear what you think when you finish it. Cool. Excuse me. Very nice. Okay. Well, let us know how that goes in the Discord. What all you guys talk about. I would be very excited to hear. Take care, K9. We'll see you then. Good night. that thing is just grinding along at speed. Well, alright everyone, I did let session 1 go on a little longer, you know, to let the train do its thing, but, alright, gonna take 5 and see you guys here real soon again. Start session 2 with the mailbag, so hang tight. Hello. I have returned. Okay. Yeah, oh, hi, Angela. Definitely, yes. Those of you who did not log on right as the stream was opening probably missed that announcement. So yes, that is happening. I have 3 envelopes here. And, you know, they are all from the fine folks at Saga. So let me just pull my skizzers out of the drawer here. And we'll start with this. So, yeah. Let's have a look, shall we? Starting with... back when I would do Mailbag Monday, the actual opening the envelope part of the mailbag was something I would conveniently cut out. But, oh, what have we here? Oh, nice. This is a finished copy. Oh, lovely. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see this very well, but this is... The author of this book is, I think it's a debut novel. The author is Yaya Schofield. I think you can see how there is a really lovely spot varnish on the dust jacket here, and as you see, the title is On Sundays She Picked Flowers, and this came out on the 27th of January, and it's described as a love story covered in blood, a surreal tale in the tradition of Toni Morrison. I should be holding it up. Rooted in womanhood and history and spirituality, and above all, blackness. Perfect for fans of Rivers Solomon's Sorrowland and Tananarive Dew's The Reformatory. It's a Southern Gothic debut about a woman who escapes her family home to the eerie woods of northern Georgia and must now contend with haints, ghosts, and a literal beast in the wild to find self-acceptance and love on the other side of the trauma. And let's see, there's a little bit... some quotes from the editor, but let me see if there's anything. Well, I guess that's going to kind of sum up the... Oh, no, wait, here we are. A little bit more, oh, Gail. Welcome. Anyway, utilizing the favorite tropes of haunted houses and unsettling wood and monsters while engaging with the violence and darkness of the genre to explore cultural events, dynamics and histories, elements of black history, Schofield centers an unfortunately universal character arc in protagonist Judith, who runs away from an abusive household in search of a place she can belong. After taking matters into her own bloody hands, Judith thinks that she's severed her abusive mother's hold on her as she settles deep in the forests of northern Georgia. But 17 years later, an enigmatic woman shows up at her doorstep to threaten all of that. At once beautiful and unsettling, captivating yet uncanny, the woman holds Judith fast between desire and the violence that simmers beneath her skin. Caught in this intoxicating romance, Judith struggles to remain balanced in the clash between her past and her present, fighting the tide of memories she thought she'd buried long ago. So it's, a focus on black horror and gothic tales. This author is published in Faya magazine, Still Point magazine. So there's, a bit of a love story here, but there's also some history and horror. So on Sundays, She Picked Flowers, and it is available now from Saga Press. So I'm trying to let the light catch the... And very nice of Saga to send me the finished copy of this. Always good to have the hardcover edition. Okay. All right, just pack this away and do the next 2. Yeah. Come on, Thomas. Okay. Moving on. Oh. And this one is in a black envelope. Okay. This is nice. Now, this is an ARC for a book that comes out on April 7th. and it is called Year of the Mare, and the author is L.D. Lewis. Now, L.D. Lewis is one of, I think, the founding editors of Faya magazine, and I follow her on social media. Very, very awesome, very cool person. And this is, I believe, the first of a duology. Don't hold me to that. I mean, it might say. Let me see if there's a... Oh, nice. Well, just a little note from the publicist, but let me see if there's... So yeah, it says, a bloody, gorgeously wrought fantasy reimagining The Little Mermaid that goes beyond the fairy tale. Okay, I'm going to have to hold it where I can read it, because it's... let's see. Yamaya Blackgate is the future of Ixia. At only 25 years old, she is close to inheriting a throne she doesn't particularly want, given her father's assassination and her mother's slow death by poisoning. Well, that makes sense. Despite whispers and slights from her own people due to her mare ancestry, Yemi has been raised as the kingdom's sword and shield, though her mother, Aunt Nova, Yemi's personal bodyguard and betrothed, gently guide and temper her, all she feels is fury. When a coup erupts, Yemi loses everything, and only one being can help her, Ursula. Like her grandmother Ariel before her, Yemi is tempted by a deal with the powerful sea witch, but she should know better than anyone that there is always a price. Okay, so that is Year of the Mare. April 7th is the date on this, and let me just see if there's any more. So yes, takes up the story 60 years after the Union. So it's kind of like an unofficial sequel to Little Mermaid, but the not so much the Disney version of Little Mermaid, more like going back to the original. But I'm just trying to confirm that it's a duology. Oh well, whether it is or isn't, here it is. So again, very pretty cover. Thank you so much, Saga Press. And finally, this one did not get a spiffy, shiny envelope. It just got a regular envelope, but we'll see what's in it anyway. So I think, all right, here we go. This one I talked about on my anticipated science fiction episode, and this comes out June 23rd, and it is The Sixth Nick, a new book by Daniel Kraus. Daniel Kraus is mostly known for horror. This is a very bizarre science fiction. It says, Destiny cannot be implanted. Meet Cicelo, the 55th Niffacock, Niffakoq, raised to save the Tri-World and reclaim a planet, raised to do her duty, raised to die. But centuries of strategy will change in the literal blink of an eye. Let me see if I can get a bit more grounded synopsis here. I remember having to seriously edit it down, the press information for this down, when I did my anticipated video, simply because it's like, all right, there's a whole lot of plot here, and it's all bonkers. But let me see. Okay, I found something I can read that is maybe a bit more... maybe a bit more concise. A startling hybrid of the Alien franchise and Ender's Game. The Sixth Nick is the first sci-fi novel from the New York Times bestselling author of Whalefall. Everyone's barking tonight. This is a very barky night. Not just from our dogs, but the neighborhood dogs are really just going off. Deep in space, far past the Tri-World outposts, beyond range of the lethal trollbot internet, soars the Sickness, a ship woven from biomatter and capable of reacting to every need of its human crew. Cicela, a 9-year-old cultist with a brain enhanced by arcane tech known as Nyx, has boarded to investigate the enigma of Fame, F-E with a accent mark over it, so I assume it's going to be Fame, F-E-M, a plague-riddled planet that has abruptly gone rogue. The mysterious crew includes a faceless assassin, a beautiful engineer jigsawed by plastic surgery, a peyote-addicted medic, and most lethal of all, a rugged, non-modded captain with a score to settle with Cicela. And the secret of fame is more horrific than anyone could have imagined. To survive, Cicely will need to forsake her predetermined fate and embrace the unknown. Yeah, just absolutely nuts. And I also believe I read a little bit of something in the earlier synopsis where, like, the ship is apparently pregnant. So, anyway, yeah, very much out there, but sounds like it could be really exciting just for the strangeness of it. But this is the sixth Nick from Daniel Kraus, and as I said, it is available June 23rd, so well off into the summer for this one, but, you know, a little bit of advance here. So that's it. There we go. 3 books from Saga. Thank you, Saga, for sending these, and thank you all for sitting through that with me. I think each one of those is intriguing, but I think on Sunday she picked flowers, though, sounds just especially rich, shall we say. All right, yeah, guys, so let me go here and do back to the online timer, reset, 45 minutes and counting, start session 2 now. So there we go. Whee. Where's my... There it is. Also went inside to get my coat because it's not really freezing out here or anything. It hasn't really gotten cold, but it is cool enough to be uncomfortable if I'm just sitting here for more than an hour. So here we are. Now the night is really quiet. I'll say that and then a guy drives by, but just... That happens, yeah. That can happen also, kill switch. Like I'm sorry, I'm not chuckling. I was looking over at the monitor and seeing myself rocking as I read. And it's just a comfortable thing to do. But when I see it on screen, when I see myself doing it, I was like, wow, I really look like I'm just totally ADHD stimming. Like stimming hard. Fine, no, it just looks funny to me. It looks just kind of funny on screen. That's all. But well, Kelswitch, how are you liking it this time? I mean, how was it? You know, what are you expecting from the reread?